It's been a while since I last made a progress or devlog video, so here we go. If you watched my previous video, you would know that I spent quite some time working on the menus of the game. Basically what I've done is just do a little bit of touch up to make it look better, like adding animations to the buttons, creating better visuals, and adding different frame sizes depending on what menu you are on. So just trying to make it look better than it was previously, because well, I thought it looked a bit shitty before. Also, just to make the language menu more symmetric, I decided to have the game translated into German as well. Insane reasoning, I know, but it looks better and it's also never a bad thing to have your game localized for more people to play. Now, after thinking about it a lot, I decided that I should add more shortcuts for the players. There are already some hidden ones in the game, but I wanted to make some new ones that are kinda more clear to the player. While I know the whole point is that this is a rage bait kinda game, I do think people will find it tedious to do some of the earlier parts of the game over and over and over again every time they are sent back to the beginning. So I thought it would be nice to hide some buttons around the map that unlock certain paths or gates for the player. However, the catch is that these shortcuts will for the most part only be used for previous sections of the game. I think this is a good idea as the player still has to play the entire course to get to the end, but it just makes the run back less tedious for the player as they don't have to replay every single section of the game every time they mess up. It basically just lets the player get back to their furthest point much quicker. Of course, these shortcuts won't bring the player all the way back to their furthest point, that would just ruin the point of the game, but it will let the player skip tiny chunks here and there, which I think the players will appreciate. A thing that has sort of bothered me for a while is that I have this outside section. I made the sprites for these very early on in the project. I guess back then I thought that I would have more variation in the different areas of the game. That's not how the final product turned out though. The outside section has been used as a bridge between the main rooms of the game, and from a purely gameplay perspective the platforming sections are okay, but from a visual perspective I just don't think it fits with the game anymore. This project is my first ever game, so for the sake of keeping things simple, I decided that I should just have the outside area replaced and switch the background and tiles to match the lab and factory art style I've been using for the rest of the game. So I just created a variant of the backgrounds I've been using earlier and added it to the game. I think this makes more sense as having a small section suddenly be an outside section didn't really make sense, and it didn't really add any value to the game in any meaningful way. Having the whole map share the same art style makes the game feel more complete, like one package, at least in my eyes. But let me know down in the comments if you think this is a mistake. Should I have just kept it as it was, or do you agree that this was a good call? I'm now at the point where there's not really that much stuff worth sharing in these videos anymore. Mostly it's just a lot of boring stuff left, like tweaking values here and there and playtesting the game a bunch. Making these videos takes up a lot of time, so I think I will just work on the game for now, and then make another video whenever I think the game is ready for releasing. Though, if I do end up spending more time than I expect, which I tend to do, then I would probably make another video between this and the release of the game. The sentence, "I am almost finished with my game," is basically my catchphrase at this point. I've been saying that for months at this point, so whoops, sorry about that. But surely this time is different, right? Well, jokes aside, I'm not gonna try to rush things either. So things can change, but I want to get the game done sooner rather than later. So we'll just have to wait and see. Well, if I am to keep my word, I need to get back to work so I can finish up the game in said time. If you like the content, I would appreciate it if you were to like the video and maybe even subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.